Architecture. Introduction to the module. This module is intended to introduce you to the basics of architecture, architectural order, materials, and elements of architectural design. Topics to be covered: basics of architecture, architectural orders, materials of architecture, primary elements of architectural design. Basics of architecture. What is architecture? It's crucial to understand more about architecture's general concept before one can delve into the field. Architecture is typically referred to as the art and practice of designing and constructing buildings. Although it is frequently assumed that architecture is primarily concerned with the construction of private residences, it is also utilized to create office buildings, churches, and museums. Additionally, architecture might concentrate on building roads, bridges, and other kinds of similar public works. Basic principles of architectural design. When discussing architectural design, creativity is the distinguishing factor. So, architects must manage creative elements. However, there are several standard architectural design concepts that maximize the building's potential. Honesty. Sometimes architects don't adhere to all of them when building a structure. An attractive design is based on 7 fundamental concepts. Basics of architecture. Balance. Balance is the skill of blending various visual weights, colors, textures, and objects to create a sense of stability and properly distribute design elements. Balance exists both physically and visually. There are 5 different types. Symmetrical or formal balance. Asymmetrical or informal balance. Radial balance. Vertical balance. Horizontal balance. Rhythm. Rhythm in architecture means the recurrence of elements such as lines, shapes, color, texture, or pattern. Types of rhythm. Regular rhythm. Random rhythm. Gradated rhythm. Graduated rhythm. Basics of architecture. Emphasis. The feature that attracts the eye to a design is its focal point. To emphasize anything, one can employ size, positioning, form, color, and the use of lines. Proportion and scale. In terms of scale, the relationships between elements in a design are compared. Movement. There will be a particular movement pattern that draws a person's attention when they look at architecture, whether it is the exterior or interior of the building. A building has amazing architecture when there is a clear visual flow and visitors can tell where the focal points are. Contrast. The key here is to make it noticeably different and attractive. It will be boring for a building without contrast. Basics of architecture. Unity. Unity is accomplished through the consistent use of lines, color, material and texture within a design. Texture. It's one of the architectural design principles that make a design stand out. Architectural orders. In architecture, order refers to a system of rules that structure a design's shape, structure, layout, and proportions. Order is indispensable functioning of any organized system. Principles of order. Axis. An axis is a line that connects 2 points in space and allows for the balanced or symmetrical arrangement of forms around it. It is a hypothetical line that can signify things like structure, precession, direction, viewpoints, lines of rotation, and more. An axis is used to arrange and plan spaces as well as align design elements. Symmetry. A symmetrical object is evenly spaced, aesthetically pleasing, and well balanced around a particular line. A symmetrical figure in geometry is one that, when split in half along an axis, produces 2 regions that are mirror images of one another. Hierarchy. In architecture, hierarchy is the articulation of spaces and forms in terms of their relative importance. Differentiating size, shape, color, and the placement of forms and spaces in relation to one another allows for better articulation. In order to change the order in which a variety of objects are experienced, hierarchy is utilized to highlight a specific item. Architectural orders. Transformation. Transformation is the idea that an architectural concept, structure, or organization can be changed without losing its identity through a series of discrete manipulations and permutations in response to a given situation or set of variables. It is possible to transform a form by altering its size, shape, rotation, stretching, morphing, and other properties. Datum: a datum is a line, plane, or volume that collects, measures, and organizes a pattern of shapes and spaces due to its continuity and regularity. Datum connects the elements of the design. It might be a road, a level line, a flat surface, etc. Rhythm: rhythm is a unifying movement that is characterized by the patterning, repetition, or modification of formal elements or motifs in the same or modified way. In contrast to repetition, which has the same shape every time, rhythm has shapes that change yet are still recognizable. Pattern: patterns are collections of components or motifs that repeat in a predetermined way. It is a structure that organizes parts of a composition. Repetition: repetition is the usage of a shape, color, or other element of a design repeatedly. It highlights certain characteristics of the work and generates a visual echo. Repetition can produce unity, harmony, structure, and motion. Materials of architecture. The following is a list of the most well-known building materials that aid in presenting various architectural styles. Concrete. Concrete is the most frequently used building material in the world, making it a fantastic place to start when learning about different building materials. However, it also has substantial adverse environmental effects, contributing up to 5% of global carbon emissions. Brick. Despite its rigid, rectangular shape made to fit your hand, brick architecture has been shown to create beautiful structures with the proper craftsmanship. Steel. Steel is a material that can be used as a structural and visible material. Wood. When compared to aesthetics and usefulness, wood is the only renewable building material that adds not only a warm feeling to a space but also an emotion of joy and comfort. Plastic. The American Chemistry Council offers a fantastic summary of plastics as a material and a list of its most important applications in architecture. Materials of architecture. Stone. Stone is a material with a broad variety of textures, colors, and strengths that has also been utilized for generations in some parts of the world. Despite being a hefty, solid material, it can nevertheless be worked to create a variety of forms. Glass. Glass is the most frequent type of facade material used nowadays because it achieves transparency and light while providing visibility and protection from the changing climate. Bamboo. Bamboo's use is typically determined by the project's location in terms of geography. Bamboo is a remarkably adaptable, durable, and sustainable material that may be used in a variety of applications in places where it makes sense. Tiles. Tiles are an effective finishing element that is frequently employed in modern structures. They are modular units composed of hard materials like ceramic, stone, or even glass that are put as a covering material over floors, walls, tabletops, etc. Primary elements of architectural design. The principles of design assist us in keeping track of the elements and ensuring that they are used appropriately. The elements are the fundamental aspects of the design. Like there are basic elements of the environment which are mandatory for human survival, some certain elements are required to create a proper and creative architectural design. The components needed to produce a balanced design with effective management of every detail are as follows. Color. The choice and application of color schemes in a given design is the most crucial element of any design. The right color choices can produce some breathtaking architectural and interior ideas. This aspect of design can be used to demonstrate how the structure differs from day and night, light and dark, intensity, and other factors. This design component includes color schemes, color wheels, hue and saturation. Light. Light is one of the most fundamental and important components in interior and external architecture design, along with color elements. For designs, lights can be produced artificially or naturally. The selection of lights and illumination used in particular compositions can change numerous elements of the overall design. Primary elements of architectural design. Value. Value is the degree to which a designer distinguishes among various structures used in an interior design. In order to differentiate between components and objects, the viewer's eyes are tricked by the element of value. Texture/pattern. This architectural design component is utilized to depict how the composition will seem. Textures and patterns are in charge of influencing how viewers perceive an object. Combining various textures and patterns can provide an in-depth perspective of furniture and home designs. The proper placement of each object in a series is often referred to as texture. Line. The most useful component in architectural design is line. To provide depth and significance to a particular object or surface, horizontal and vertical lines can be created. Lines help in connecting objects without making them too obvious for the viewers. Primary elements of architectural design. Value. Value is the degree to which a designer distinguishes among various structures used in an interior design. In order to differentiate between components and objects, the viewer's eyes are tricked by the element of value. Texture/pattern. This architectural design component is utilized to depict how the composition will seem. Textures and patterns are in charge of influencing how viewers perceive an object. Combining various textures and patterns can provide an in-depth perspective of furniture and home designs. The proper placement of each object in a series is often referred to as texture. Line. The most useful component in architectural design is line. To provide depth and significance to a particular object or surface, horizontal and vertical lines can be created. Lines help in connecting objects without making them too obvious for the viewers. Summary. Typically, the term architecture refers to the art and practice of designing and erecting structures. 7 key ideas form the foundation of an interesting design. To be honest, not all of them are always followed by architects when creating a construction. The term order in architecture describes a set of guidelines that govern the form, composition, and proportions of a design. Primary architectural design components include things like color, light, tone, shape, direction, and proportion.